All right, welcome to the virtual college exploration for all California students, sponsored by College2Career Fairs and StriveScan. Thanks for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. Attendees, you can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenter at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the presenter and I cannot see you or hear you. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so please be sure to check out the full schedule at College2CareerFairsConnect.org. This presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at the same website, College2CareerFairsConnect.org. And I would now like to turn it over to our presenter.
All right, hello everybody. Let me go ahead and share my screen first. Just give me 1 second here. All right. Okay, so hi, my name is Allie. I'm an admissions rep here from Northern Michigan University. And so just a little bit about me really quick. I graduated from NMU back in 2016, and I've been working back here in our admissions office for about a year now. And I actually transferred to NMU in my sophomore year after I attended a different university. And so I love that I'm able to help incoming students navigate their college search while they're getting ready to graduate high school, just because I know how stressful that can be. But then I also have that transfer background and experience in the transfer world that I'm able to help for those of you who may be considering staying closer to home first and then maybe planning a future transfer. We have counselors located in all different states throughout the Midwest, but I am actually based right out of our admissions office right here on our campus in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Before we get into more about NMU, I just wanted to take a quick second just to thank all of you. Thank you for taking the time to meet with me tonight. I know we are all sick of the Zoom world at this point, and I wish that you could be here face-to-face or that I could be there, but we kind of just have to embrace all things virtual at this point, and we just have to kind of go with it. We are going to cover all sorts of topics, and I also just want to give you some perspectives and stories from some of our current or former students that will hopefully help you to answer some of the questions that you might have, or even just put some thoughts into your head that would be helpful for you as you navigate through your college search. But if for whatever reason there is something that I miss or that I don't cover or something that you want more information on, please, of course, let me know and we can certainly talk. And so I know I mentioned a minute ago that I am located on our campus. And so I don't know if you would recognize the time difference between you and I right now, but I am over here on the Eastern time zone. And so that means it is just after 11 o'clock at night right now. So I stayed up extra late so I could talk to you tonight. I've drank a lot of coffee today, and so please submit your questions while we go through this. I know I can't see you right now, but I hope to be able to interact with you and try to have fun with this. And like she said, you're able to submit your questions through the Q&A function, and so I will try to remember to stop talking enough to keep checking on those if there's any questions coming in. All right, so we are all here tonight to talk about how you can be Northern. And so first of all, let's talk about exactly where we are located. And so I'm not sure if you caught me mention the word Upper Peninsula earlier when I said where I was located, but if you did, I have a feeling that you might have asked yourself maybe what is she talking about? Looking at the slide here and also just knowing who you're talking to right now, you know that we're located in Michigan, and so we are all the way across the country. I'm sure that is no secret to you. But if we move on to the next slide here, you can kind of see more specifically where in Michigan we're located. And so we are up in Marquette, Michigan. Looking at the graphic here, you can kind of see more specifically where exactly that is. We are way up north, about as far north as you can get in the state of Michigan. The Upper Peninsula, or the UP as people call it, is known as definitely more of a rural area. We have a lot of smaller towns around us, but Marquette is definitely by far the biggest city within the UP. We have just over 21,000 residents in the city, and so to you, that number might seem pretty tiny, but to us, that is by far the biggest area around us. Over here in Marquette, we have no such thing as traffic jams. We measure our miles in minutes, so 5 miles takes you 5 minutes to drive, but we're not so small that you don't have some of those places that you're used to, like Target and Starbucks. Restaurants all over that you would know, and so do not let that smaller size deter you right away. Marquette was actually voted the best small town for adventure by USA Today, and now just recently we were actually voted in the top 25 for best up-and-coming small towns by the Reader's Digest, which is really cool. And then building off of that too, I will just say, just because we're in a smaller area, we are also voted one of the top 20 safest college campuses in the Midwest, and so our students feel safe here. Our campus is known to be extremely safe. I'm sitting here on campus right now at 11 o'clock at night and I feel safe, but we do have lots of resources available if you ever were to need them. Just know that there are resources here to make you feel safe. But really, I always say, in my personal opinion, that one of the best parts about NMU is just where we're located in Marquette, in the Upper Peninsula. It's just a place that you really do have to see for yourself, and you will be amazed like you see in this photo. And so I just wanted to say that as we go throughout these slides, these are all photos of Marquette, of our campus. They're taken by us, and they definitely just help to give you the accurate picture about NMU and about Marquette. All right. And so let's talk a little bit about numbers at NMU. And so NMU is considered to be a mid-sized university. We currently have right around 7,600 students on campus or so. And we were rated in the top 15 best public universities in the Midwest. And then we also hold programs for the top 10 fastest growing jobs in the country. And so that's a really special stat. And that just shows that we have not only strong, but also innovative programs for jobs that are in high demand at this very moment. Moving on, let's talk about what you are going to study at NMU. So this slide will show you some of our more notable majors, but you can also see here that we have over 170 different areas of study. And so it's really hard to just show these programs on a slide because everyone is so different and everyone likes different things. But I do want to just say, of course, you can find a listing of all of the programs that we offer, all of the bachelor's programs, associate programs, certificate programs. Those can be found right on our website if you search our university bulletin. But I mentioned before that NMU has innovative and unique programs. And so we're always looking at today's job market, and we really design our programs for those markets so that students have jobs when they graduate. Because I would imagine ultimately that is the goal for all of you, to be employed after college. And so we've got strong programs in business and technology areas like business analytics, social media design management, and entrepreneurship. In those programs, you'd be studying in our cybersecurity institute or building your own robotics, for example. In the arts and communications area, we have a really strong art and design program where we've had graduates who go on and have worked for making films for Pixar and DreamWorks. In the human services area, we have programs for jobs that serve the general public, like criminal justice, which is a really popular program for us. Education, forensic biochemistry. So students in some of those majors, they get to work in what's called our Frost Center. And the Frost Center is really cool. That's where you would be getting hands-on experience, learning to solve crimes and solving missing persons. So the Frost Center, it's actually the world's first cold weather lab for the study of human remains. And so, like I said, pretty innovative things happening over here. Then moving on, we have our engineering, manufacturing, and industrial technology programs. And so we actually do have mechanical and electrical engineering technology programs. And so when I say engineering technology, these programs are a lot more hands-on than maybe a traditional engineering program. You would be involved in the entire life cycle of a product, the design, the creation, the maintenance of that product, all parts of it. And then we do have some really popular programs in the natural resources area. And so that would be our environmental science and sustainability program, biology. And then one of our really cool programs is our medicinal plant chemistry program, which also does have a brand new indoor agriculture program that you can pair with it. That's an associate's program. And so in those programs, you're learning to cultivate and extract from different plants. And you're learning to do this in a colder weather environment, which is really unique. And so like I said, NMU is in an environment that allows these kind of unique programs and research opportunities to be possible and to thrive. You're not just going to be sitting in a classroom at NMU, you will literally be out in the woods studying and learning in our environment. And then lastly, in our health sciences area, we have traditional and really strong programs, of course, like pre-med and nursing, but then we have programs in the clinical lab sciences areas if you wanted to study maybe how to diagnose disease or to take blood samples. You can learn how to detect brain tumors or cancer tumors. We have programs for you to do that. And I will say that specifically, that industry is one that is particularly really booming right now. So let me just double check any questions about programs. Let's see, no, all right. Okay, so let's move on to some quick stats if you're interested. And so if you just skimmed over this slide really quickly, you can see some numbers showing that NMU definitely has a lot smaller class sizes, but let's talk about why that's important. And so I think Olivia summed it up really well here when she said that My freshman year English professor was the person who helped me realize that I should be an English major. The staff is always trying to push you out of your comfort zone and help explore your options. And so she wasn't even sure that she wanted to be an English major, but she already in her freshman year was able to develop a relationship with a professor that she clearly was impacted by. And so at NMU, you really are able to have an extremely personal experience in the classroom, and you can easily and really quickly build those relationships with your professors. And that's definitely to your advantage, because I think when an instructor sees an internship opportunity that's perfect for you, they're going to remember you and they're going to think of you first, and they'll know your skill set, they can vouch for you, and they can make those recommendations for you. They truly are here to help the students at NMU become successful, and they want to facilitate those relationships with you just as much as you want those relationships with them, which I think is really special, and that's just not something that you'll be able to find everywhere. Okay, so now you know where we're located, you know where you're going to study, you know what you're going to expect in your classes, and so now you have to figure out where you're going to live and where you are going to be comfortable. And so this photo in the background of the slide is called the lodge, or the lobby area of our brand new dorm facility, which we will talk about in a second. But I just wanted to mention quickly, NMU, as far as housing, we do have a 2-year housing requirement. In some cases, that can be more flexible for transfer students, depending on maybe your age or how many transfer credits you would be coming in with. But we have that 2-year requirement just because we think that your time in the dorms is what really plays a huge role in what shapes you as a person during your college years. And this is where you're going to meet some of your lifelong friends, have your late night study sessions, you're going to be getting involved, and it's going to be your home for a really long time. And so Jordan, she is a current NMU student from Florida. I'll just use her as an example. So she's coming from Florida, and she told us that she chose to attend NMU because it was the place that felt most like home to her, which is funny because she came from so far away. And so I thought I would share that message with you guys. I know you're coming from California, but it just goes to show how you can still make a faraway place in a brand new place feel like home. And that's really important to us, is to make you feel comfortable here. And so let's talk about some of the options you have for housing. Okay, and so you would have a choice over the residence hall that you would live in. In most cases, you'll have that 4-person traditional suite style where you have your roommate and then you have your shared private bathroom with your suite mates. And so I mentioned the Woods a minute ago. And so that, like I said, is our brand new dorm facility, which you can see in those top 2 photos. You'll see the nice fancy granite countertops, there's ceiling fans, drywall, just a nicer overall finishes. It's nicer than my apartment right now, and so I'm a little bit jealous of people that get to live in the Woods now. But then we also have our Quad 2 building. That's where I lived when I was a student at NMU. Quad 2 is still a super nice facility. It was renovated not all that long ago, but it's definitely more of just a traditional style type of dorm, kind of what you'd expect when you think of college dorm, really. But I will say, if you do go visit our housing page on our website, of course, you can find tons more information about the different layouts, like the different room options. We have private room options, and so you can find all of that information if you just go to nmu.edu/housing. But regardless of where you were to choose to live on campus, you're going to have that same experience in any of the dorms. Both of the dorms have really strong communities and involvement with their residents, and so you'll find that sense of home wherever you choose to live. It's just really a matter of what your preference is. Let's see, any questions? No, it doesn't look like it. All right. So moving on, like we just talked about, this is going to be your home for a long time. And so while you make this your home, we're going to make sure that you're supported as a student. And so whether it's physically, mentally, or academically, there are resources available to you, and you're going to have someone to help you get through whatever it is you're going through. Your health as a student is super important to us. We know that you need to feel healthy to succeed in the classroom. And so we really encourage our students to please reach out, to talk to somebody, to ask for help if you need it. Maybe it's anxiety about being far away from home in your situation. We have 24/7 counseling services available, or maybe you're just getting frustrated because you're struggling somewhere academically. We have tutors in all different areas for you, workout facilities on campus, a full health center, and a full pharmacy with awesome doctors. And so, like I said, we have your overall well-being in mind in all aspects. And we really just want our students to feel comfortable utilizing those resources. And so just know, again, you will have that support you need while you're at NMU. And you can see here that Adrian is someone who can definitely vouch for that support and who can relate to you guys specifically being a lot farther away from home. And he said that he felt that NMU was committed to making him feel like he was welcomed and included in every aspect, especially since he was so far away from home. He said NMU made him feel like he wasn't just another student they were trying to recruit, and that they actually cared about his future and his well-being. And that's what brings me to my next point. Adrian is just an example of a student who came to NMU from far away. And so we do have students coming from all over the place, not just the country, but international students from all over the world. But I will be honest and say that NMU may not necessarily have strong diversity reflected in our student body makeup and in our numbers. But like Molly says on the slide here, we want to embrace the diversity that we do have and really celebrate it. I always say that when you're getting yourself out there and you're getting involved in different groups in your dorm room and you're going to see, obviously the more people you're going to meet, and obviously the more people you meet, the more diverse of an experience you're going to have. And so it's just what's really going to help you meet different people from different places with all kinds of backgrounds that are different than yours. And so we do have that diversity if you go out and find it. And having more of those diverse experiences, that's what's really going to help you as you move into life after college. We talked to a former student named Alyssa, and she actually came to NMU from California, and she told us that she told us what I've been talking about here, and that's really the reason she chose NMU. She said that she was looking to be a part of something that was totally different from her city life. She wanted to meet people. She said that once she realized that NMU wasn't really just about academics, but that it was about building relationships and connections, that is what really had gave her the leap to come to NMU. And she said that she wouldn't really be who she was had she not come to NMU. So let me just check for questions. Okay. All right. And so at this point, you might be wondering, what are you going to do at NMU? What is there for me to do as a student? And so let's talk about some of those things. And so truthfully, this kind of goes back to what we were talking about, is that the easiest way for you to find things to do is just to really put yourself out there and immerse yourself and get involved as a student at NMU. And one of those ways is, of course, through student organizations. So we have over 300 different student organizations that students can be a part of. These range from academic-related clubs that you can join that maybe align with your major, to all sorts of special interest groups, or maybe more of like the fun kind of groups to join, but and then entertainment type organizations where students actually get to be involved in what type of entertainment we bring to campus. And so you can actually be someone who helps organize a really cool or really funny guest speaker to campus, or help organize a concert or something like that. But then, of course, groups that are focused on volunteer work and community service around the Marquette area. We have a lot of groups that are dedicated to that area. But like I said, with 300 different clubs, there is really something out there for just about everybody. And the cool thing is that actually as a student at NMU, you have the ability to create your own student organization or a club if there was something that you were interested in that we, for some reason, did not have. And so I really encourage you as a student to get yourself out there, to get involved in at least one or multiple clubs as a student, regardless of wherever you choose to go. That's not just advice for NMU, that's advice for wherever you choose. But we do have a list of all of our clubs and all of our organizations right on our website if you search student organizations on the nmu.edu website. But going forward on things to do, maybe you are a sports fan, and so if you are, just know that as a student, you would have a rec pass to all of our NMU home sporting events. And so you can see on the slide here that which NCAA sports that we offer on both the men's and women's side, but we are most well known for our men's hockey team. Even if you're not a fan of hockey, I always tell students to just go and watch a game because the atmosphere there is just so fun and exciting to be at, and it's one of those experiences that you have to have as a student here, definitely. We also have a brand new varsity esports team, which is really exciting, and then a range of club sports that a lot of students like to get involved in, just for those who are maybe looking to do something a little bit more competitive still, but then a bunch of intramural sports as well. And so with intramural sports, a lot of times students will make up their teams with all the people that they live in their dorm room with. So you can play late night soccer in the Superior Dome. The Superior Dome is the world's largest wooden dome. That's where our football games are played. We also have another intramural sport called Battleship H2O. And what that is It's literally students in canoes in the pool at our rec center, and you're trying to sink the other team's canoe. And so a lot of fun options for you to be active while still having fun. Intramurals, I will say, was definitely my favorite thing to do when I was a student at NMU. It's just an easy way to take a break from studying, do something fun with your friends, and maybe get a free t-shirt if you actually won. So continuing on the topic of things to do, we will now talk about one of my favorite things, and that is Marquette. And so we've talked a little bit about Marquette, but Marquette in itself really gives you so many opportunities for things to do as a student here. And specifically, if you are someone looking for outdoor adventure, we experience the seasons of the year in Marquette probably a lot differently over here than what you're probably used to through fall, winter, summer. And so there's always opportunities for you to get outside and take advantage of your surroundings. This photo here shows a couple of students in Lake Superior. Lake Superior is literally right in the backyard of Marquette. It's a 5 or 10 minute walk from campus. And so in the summer months, students will find themselves kayaking, paddleboarding, everything like that along the lake. There's beaches all throughout town that are filled up in the summer. Lake Superior is easily my favorite place to hang out in Marquette. You can catch some of the best sunsets ever down by the lake, or sunrises if you are a morning person. Props to you. We also have a lot of amazing waterfalls around us, also around the entire UP waterfalls. And so on a Saturday, a lot of times people will hop in a car with their friends and they'll take a tour of the whole Upper Peninsula and go see all the waterfalls in one day. A lot of hiking and biking trails surrounding us in Marquette. Those are really popular and they attract people from all over that like to come and bike the trails here. And so you get a lot of use out of those, whether it's in the summer going out for a run, or you can take what's called a fat tire bike out or snowshoes along the trail in the winter. And so with that, winter, that brings me to my next point that I would love to talk to you about, which is, like I said, winter. I'm not sure what everyone's thoughts are on snow, but I'm not gonna lie to you, we get a lot of it. When I say a lot, I mean on average up to 14 or 15 feet of snow every year. And so like we've established, you guys are over in California. I don't know if some of you have ever even seen snow before in your life, but don't be scared of it. You have to just try to think of it as another opportunity for fun. We have a ski hill that's right off of our campus where you can get a student pass for the winter. You can go skiing or snowboarding after class. I mentioned students like to snowshoe or cross-country ski or ride fat tire bikes, which is basically just a regular bike with thicker tires that you can ride in the snow. So there's plenty of ways for you to stay busy and make the 14 feet of snow actually enjoyable for yourself. I will also mention that as a student, you do have access to a bunch of different recreational equipment that you can rent out yourself, like those different bikes and skis, kayaks for the summer, or camping gear. There's so much available for you, so you don't have to worry about not having those things just to be able to get out there and enjoy the outdoors. But like I said, at this point, if you couldn't tell, like I've been saying, we really are a place for those who are outdoor enthusiasts to really thrive, not just academically, but recreationally. I know that a lot of students at NMU choose to come here for that reason. You know, you get to receive this awesome education, but you get to do it in a location and in a place that's going to provide you some really amazing opportunities and experiences and adventures along the way. So any questions about all of that? I'm not sure if I maybe scared everybody away when I talked about snow. All right. So moving on, we will get to the fun stuff. Let's talk about how you can get into NMU as a student. And so the application is pretty straightforward and really simple, and you can kind of break it down into 3 steps. And so obviously, first things first, you will want to just go ahead and submit your application. You can do that right online by visiting nmu.edu/apply and filling out the undergraduate application. NMU has rolling admissions, and so that means we have no application deadline, but we do say that it's probably best to start applying probably about a year or so in advance just to get that process started. But that timeline is definitely a lot more flexible for you if you would be coming in as a transfer student. But again, really no deadline regardless. But the next step along the way would be to pay your $35 application fee. But just know that we do have options for fee waivers. And so if you thought that that's something that you would qualify for, just let us know and we can talk about that. And then that final step to complete your application is just to send us a copy of your transcript, your official transcript. And so if you're an incoming freshman for fall 2021, you would want to send us a copy of your transcript through your 11th grade years, or 11th year grades, I'm sorry. And then for incoming transfer students, you would need to send us copies of all official transcripts until your most recent completed semester. So if you by chance have attended multiple institutions as a transfer student, we would need official transcripts from each of those schools that you have attended. And then from there, we'll just review your application and you would receive a decision from us within about 7 to 10 days or so. And so it's a pretty quick turnaround time. You will see that what we ask from you in order to be accepted as an incoming freshman would be a 2.25 high school GPA. NMU has actually moved to a test blind admissions policy for the fall 2021 year. And so that means we're not asking for your SAT or ACT test scores. We wouldn't use them for a decision regardless of whether you have been able to take the test or not. We're just going to be going off of that 2.25 GPA. For incoming transfer students, we would require a 2.0 GPA so long as you have taken at least 12 college level credits after high school. But if you did have more questions about the test blind policy or what documents you would need to send us or GPA requirements, of course, just let me know or reach out to our admissions office and we would be happy to work with you individually. From there, we can go ahead and talk about scholarships. And so first, you'll see here that we have our Wildcat Achievement Awards. That's for incoming freshmen. If you take a look, you can try and see where you may fall within these requirements, which do start at a 3.0 GPA and above. But we are going to that test blind policy, like I said, and so that means no test score required from you to apply or to be accepted. But if you did happen to have a test score for your SAT or ACT, you can see that you can see here that the test score could only potentially help you for scholarship purposes. That test score cannot hurt you in any way. If you did have it, you can certainly send it to us if you did think that it was going to help you for scholarship purposes. But this same model applies for transfer students. For the Transfer Wildcat Achievement Awards, which these are just solely based upon your incoming transfer GPA, and they start at a 3.0 and above. So that's pretty straightforward. You can kind of just see where you may fall within those GPA requirements. For out-of-state students, there are some extra scholarship opportunities for you too. And so you can see that we have our National Academic Award. And so long as you carry a 3.0 high school GPA, then as an incoming freshman, you would receive that $5,600 per year. Same thing applies for transfer students. If you came in with at least a 3.0 transfer GPA, then you would also qualify for that $5,600 per year as a transfer student. And so what that $5,600 per year does is it essentially covers the difference for you between in-state and out-of-state tuition, which we can talk about in a second here. But if for some chance you as an incoming freshman or a transfer student, you didn't meet that 3.0 GPA requirement, we do have this NMU incentive fund as well. And that is in the amount of $3,000 per year. And so that requires a 2.25 to a 2.99 for freshmen, and then a 2.0 to a 2.99 for transfer students. For both transfer students and freshmen, these are all merit-based scholarships. And so that just means they would be automatically awarded to you from us in the admissions office if you've been accepted, and it's all just dependent upon where your GPA falls. So there's no application, nothing that you would need to do to receive those scholarships. I know that was a lot of numbers to throw at you, so just know, like I've been saying, you can find this information on our website too. You just have to visit nmu.edu/scholarships. So last thing, we will just talk about cost here for a second, everyone's favorite subject. As you can see, for an out-of-state student, you would be looking at right about $28,000 per year for tuition, room and board, and you can find the breakdown on the slide right here. But remember, of course, any scholarships that you might receive would be taken away from that total. Financial aid, of course, might play a role in that number as well. And so I always encourage people to definitely have a conversation with our financial aid staff at some point so that you can get an idea of what you might be able to expect when it comes to your own individual aid as well. Okay, so now that we've got you hooked on NMU, I just wanted to talk to you about a couple other ways that you can connect with us and some fun things that we have going on and planned for this upcoming fall. And so first of all, if you were able to make the trip all the way across the country, we are actually holding in-person campus visits right now. As part of your in-person visit, you would get to take a tour of campus, of course, with a current NMU student, but then you can also schedule different appointments, like appointments with us and admissions, appointments with a financial aid counselor. But then also what's really cool is that you can meet with a faculty member too from whatever academic area that you're interested in. And then of course, many other departments around campus. I know that our dates are pretty booked up right now going into November, but maybe consider making a visit in the winter months. And so you can really get a feel of all that snow that I scared you about earlier. But even though we are back to hosting in-person visits, we still are offering virtual interactive campus visits as well. And so part of the virtual visit, you would still get to do many of the same things. So you could watch a video tour of NMU's campus, but the video tour would be narrated live with a current NMU student over Zoom. And so you can actually talk to that student. You can ask them questions, like all the normal things that you would do in person, just over Zoom, of course. But we're not just going to hand off a video to you to make you watch it by yourself. This is really as interactive as it can be. But then in addition, you can schedule virtual appointments with an admissions counselor, with financial aid, just like you would do in person. Same thing goes with that faculty member too from your academic area of interest. And so this is something that students like you who may not be able to get a chance to physically come to campus as easily, that's something that you can definitely take advantage of. It's really nice because you can schedule it on a weekday, on a time or a day that works best for you, and we'll really try to just give you the best NMU virtual experience possible until you could come see NMU for yourself. And so please write this link down, nmu.edu/admissions/virtual, and take a look at some options and see what we have and see what might work best for you. But I'm going to go ahead and show you our website and show you some other things that we have going on virtually. And so next week, we are actually throwing a virtual open house called Northern Nights, which we are really excited about. And so starting off that Monday, we are starting off with a virtual game show called Who Wants to Be a Wildcat? And so that's just going to be a fun way for students to learn some information about NMU with some admissions information thrown in there as well. And so then the rest of the week during Northern Nights, we'll be featuring 2 nightly student panels, and those will be full of current NMU students in all different majors. And so they'll be answering questions about their major and their experiences at NMU. And those will be moderated by some of our faculty members who may actually also have some good insight as well. If you were to click learn more on the website here, you can see which types of majors will be featured on each night and each night of next week. And so it's definitely not too late to sign up. And then you can get specific links sent to you for those webinars like what we're doing right now. If for some reason you weren't able to go to any of those or attend those panels next week, you can check back on our website at the end of the week, because what we're going to do is have all those panels recorded and then release them on the website for anybody to view whenever you have time. Then in a couple of weeks, we are actually throwing a virtual transfer week. And so, like I said, if for some reason you're thinking about maybe a future transfer, we're going to be releasing a bunch of transfer content in a couple weeks, videos, resources that would be helpful for somebody who's planning to transfer to NMU. We're going to have current NMU transfer students doing takeovers of our social media accounts throughout the week on Snapchat and Instagram, so stay tuned for those. And then moving forward on the page, you can obviously see, like we talked about, where you can schedule your interactive campus tour. You can find some information on our virtual college fairs and presentations. And then one thing also that we are doing, or one thing that I wanted to mention is our YouTube page. And so that's something I really encourage students to check out. We have so much awesome content on there. One that's really popular right now is a recent video that we posted, and that's a virtual tour of our dorm rooms that I was talking about earlier. And so definitely go and watch that one. You can really get a feel for the dorms and how they may look for you, and see if you can envision yourself in those rooms. We have different vlogs on there from current students who show what it's like to be a wildcat for a day, and just a lot of other cool stuff that you can check out. But lastly, you can see here that you are also able to talk to admissions staff, talk to us live every weekday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. That is Eastern time, so that would actually be 5 a.m. your time to 2 p.m. That's still plenty of time during the day for you to reach us. And that's just instantly, that's just live chat that you can talk to us every day. And then also there's opportunities for you to get in touch with current NMU students. And so that's a really cool resource that we have as well. We talked to Alyssa. She is a former NMU student from California, and we asked her just, what is your biggest piece of advice for a student in California thinking about choosing a school like NMU that, that's so far away? And what she said was that she said to reach out to people. And she said, if you're considering coming to NMU, reach out to students, reach out to professors and people in the department. And she just said that almost always you're going to find someone willing to give you advice or perspective at NMU. And so I obviously can talk to you all night about NMU, but like Alyssa said, you can have such more meaningful conversations with students who are currently experiencing everything that you're trying to find out about. And they can really help answer those questions about life at NMU and help you navigate your decisions that you're kind of going through at this time. But with that being said, I am done talking your ears off. I will go ahead and pause here for a bit just to see if there's any final questions coming in. I'll give you guys a second to let me know if you have any questions. I know I don't want to keep you for much longer, but I do just want to thank everyone for joining tonight. I know that was a ton of information and it is late at night for both of us. And so I just hope that I gave you a lot better of an idea of what you could maybe expect as a student all the way over here at NMU. But I'll pull up my contact information here quickly. And then if you wanted to, of course, you can take my contact information and please feel free to reach out to me or just our admissions office if you did have any questions. But thank you everyone so much for attending tonight. I hope you've got some good information out of this.
Thanks so much, Allie, for your presentation about NMU.
Thank you.
And thank you to the attendees for joining us. When you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We appreciate any feedback you can provide. This was just one of many sessions being hosted, so please be sure to sign up for additional sessions at college2careerfairsconnect.org. In about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording as well as any of the other session recordings at college2careerfairsconnect.org. Thanks so much. Have a nice night, everyone.
Bye, thank you.